on him. I'm talking about the rest of his physique. He's in second place and looking very, very threatening on the Scuderia Kawasaki Ducati. Can he win this one? Forey on pole. Terrible start for the Ducati, but look at that flyweights of Stefan Chambon, the 1999 world champion with All-Star Corona Suzuki, flies into the lead on the Gill Motorsports Honda. 21 laps to go, and at least, although the clouds have blown back over us again, it's decently dry out there. Well, look at what a getaway. I suppose when you weigh about 4.5 stone, it makes things a little bit easier when your motorcycle.
Chambon does traditionally make good starts, but now he's not as quick as he was. He tends to sort of scythe his way back to about 15 after making a good start.
So the near 40-year-old Stefan Chambon leads the way here as we go round the Tosa hairpin and then howl uphill. And I think Brock Parks has got a cracking start. Brock Parks in second place. Robbie Harms, a great start in third place. And that was, just for a moment there, Brock Parks thought he had the lead. Harms is third, Fabrizio fourth, for Forrest, a good start in fifth ahead of Kevin Curtin, and would you believe Nanelli is seventh, 8 Karadi, and Forrest made a nightmare start as we see a bit of infighting developing and a bit of punching going on as the guys head into the Aqua Minerale and out, and then down to the second of the big chicanes. Look at Forrest desperately trying to find a way through.
This should be a fairly fair race machine-wise, now that nobody's got a 20-mile-an-hour quicker 10-car to Honda.
This is very true, and straight away Brock Parks for the first time. Who's that? Forrest. Xavier Forrest, number 12, desperately trying to keep himself upright. And, oh dear. Xavier Forrest, the 20-year-old from Lombay, goes into the kitty litter as Forrest just comes up the inside. Well, where did he produce that from? That can't be Forey, it can't be that far. It's Fabrizio. Surely it's Fabrizio,
It is.
Fabrizio.
My mistake there, Jack.
Fabrizio, starting from 9th place on the grid, has now nailed second place. And also coming through, I think, is Robin Harms, number 127, from Copenhagen. So already Stefan Chambon has been propelled back to 4th place. Oh, dear me, that let go on him very late. It looks like he was touched.
Look at a stop on there, yeah. That's where everybody was crashing. That's down into Rivazza, where everybody was crashing in the first Superbike race.
And here we have, this is the guy, notice the identical technique going into the turn. This is the guy who used to race dirt track championship racing, of course, all those years ago against Chris Vermeulen, and always got the better of Chris. Somebody else has gone down hard. And that's Jose Manuel Hurtado.
And he's Hurtado now, isn't he? Hurt his backside, I think, there.
And I'm really disappointed at the start that Fabien Forest made. He's got a lot of work to do, but Kawasaki's trying hard in the mid-pack. 2 Kawasaki's together with a James Whittam riding style on board. But number 23 at the front, Brock Parks, followed by 84 Michel Fabrizio. Then Robin Harms, 127, Stefan Chambon, number 8.
And I tell you what, if Forey is going to capitalise on the championship and Fujiwara not been out in this race, he's going to have to go a bit quicker than he's going now.
He certainly is, because he's well back from the leader at the moment. Last lap round he was about 2.178 seconds behind the lead. That's not so important, it's the fact that he's got about 6 riders in between them.
Yeah, he's stuck behind a lot of slower, or it should be slower riders.
Into the final chicane. This at the conclusion of the second lap, and there's Forey trying to find a way past the former European champ Alessio Carodi, and succeeding. He got round the outside of him on the exit. No, he didn't. He's still behind him. The second wave of riders being led by Johan Stigfeldt. Johan Stigfeldt on the second of the Sticky Racing Dark Dog Hondas is in the 9th place ahead of Laus Leto's Team Claffey Honda, Alessandro Antonello's Honda, Kawasaki rather, and Canepa's. Oh, it was number 55, Canepa, who's looking energetic on a Kawasaki. And we only know him as an item of food, really. He's actually Nicola Canepa, a 17-year-old from Genoa on the light-speed Kawasaki. It's only taken them almost the whole season to get someone decent on that Kawasaki.
Yeah,
it's quite a quick bike.
Beautiful looking bike.
So the race winner from 2001, there he is, number 99, on the red Megabike Honda is really struggling.
And he's getting really frustrated as well. Oh, have some of that.
Oh, dear me.
You're going to wear it, or do you want me to put it in a bag for you?
That was a sub move. Get your knee out of my way, and the rest of it.
That's actually what happens. You know, if you're getting frustrated and you can see the leaders getting away, you do start to take sort of extreme measures, shall we say, Jack.
I think Stefan Chambon had better watch out. Here comes Forey.
I think he's going to get the business just shortly, I think.
This is the place to watch. Here he goes.
I thought, we know it's slipping into here though. We do know this corner's slipping.
Oh,
he ran a little bit wide mid-corner, but still got away with it.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place now. He's gained 2, and he's got Gianluca Nanelli's impressive physique in his sights. Michel Fabrizio, meanwhile, having, well, cocky and confident. It takes one to know one, as Marianne said. So,
oh, yeah, cheeky monkey, Jack. I was never confident. Always a bit cocky, man.
There's a subtle difference between the two, then.
Yeah.
23, Brock Parks leads it. 84, Michel Fabrizio in 2nd place on the leading Megabike Honda. It's great to see Brock Parks kind of restored to fitness and health and looking like his old self, really. Fantastic. He's really been, you know, he's been in the doldrums a bit too long. A rider of his quality ought to be up there. The protege, of course, of the guy you were banging bars with at the Goodwood Festival a couple of weeks ago on Max Norton's Wayne Gardner.
And very similar kind of person, really. Very, very determined. In fact, Gardner in his career probably suffered from being too determined. He never, ever, ever gave up. And Brock Parks is the same. Quite a tough little character. Kind of stocky and squat and fairly hard as well.
That was Karadi looking for a way past. Oh, I think he's got it as well. They're swapping paint with Stefan Chambon and getting the better of the tiny Frenchman. Stefan Chambon, he's now 40 years old, you know, on the 10th of August.
He should know better than this, shouldn't he?
He should really. He's older than you, James. Even you've had the sense to stop. Fastest lap goes to Gianluca Nanelli's Scuderia Caracci. It's 7:49 now, 152.916, and 2 Ducatis well in the mix here, lying 5th and 8th with Nanelli and Carradi. Robin Harms becomes more impressive every race.
I was just about to say that, Jack. He's having a real good ride.
127, 24-year-old from Copenhagen on that Stiggy Motorsports bike. It's good when you get a team that like supports its own. You know, he's a fellow Scandinavian, so Stigfeldt has himself and another Scandinavian in the team. It's a good idea. Yeah,
they're good people to work with, the Scandinavians as well. They're all really unpassionate, but that's a good thing. They're very considered and they're thinking. They're always very, very logical people and always put a real good bike together. I mean, it's a big generalisation about all Scandinavians, but they do tend to. I've worked with quite a few Scandinavians and they've all been really good to work with.
Brock Parks leads, 2nd Fabrizio, 3rd Harms, 4th, almost unnoticed, is the battered Kevin Curtin. Not able, it looks as if not able to challenge for the lead as we would expect him to do. Remember, he was the race winner at the Lausitz String and was twice 2nd at back at Silverstone and the 2nd round on his home territory at Phillip Island.
I just love these Supersport bikes. You can hear the engines, how much more they're revving than the bigger engines and the 1000cc 4s. And these things are revving to getting up at sort of 17,000 RPM now. These are little rev boxes and really good to ride, especially around a place like this. They've not got an excess of power, which makes them actually more fun to ride because you feel like you're sort of wringing the neck more rather than being sat on a projectile that you can hardly just about control with the superbikes.
152.646, fastest lap of the race then for Michel Fabrizio in 2nd place. And squeezing that advantage up number 23, Brock Parks. You saw further back that Antonello 11th, 12th Canepa, 13th Legrive, and then your old mate Simone Sanna on a Honda is in 14th place. James, and another former MotoGP rider, Ivan Goy, back in 18th place on a Yamaha.
Yeah, I actually...
Look at Fabrizio. Wow. Bullets through into the lead, and of course this is an Italian on Italian soil. You heard the rev range rise in the course commentator just then, and the crowd vaulted to their feet. Fabrizio has the lead, but for how long?
Tell you what, the Yam's quick. Yamaha every bit as quick as the Honda down that straight. In fact, probably a little bit quicker as they go through Tamburello.
The fastest man on track on that lap was Foray, 152.8, and Harms did a 152.9. But look at this move. Oh, that was late.
That was a block pass, that. A fraction of a second later than actually...
he'd have collected it.
Yeah, he would have done. He wouldn't have seen him coming and turned right across the front of him.
And Brockley looks as if he wants to do something about that. He's certainly seeking a way back, and he needs to, because Robbie Harms and Kevin Curtin are closing the gap. And all the time, the Ducati of Nanelli and the Megabike Honda number 2, number 99 of Fabien Foray also tried to close in. Dear me. I think it's quite good. I think we should ban Winston Tenkate from the final round in Magny-Cours next weekend.
This is what Supersport racing should be like.
Oh, look at Brock, look at that angle, look at the way he set himself up for a pass up the hill. Has he got it on? He's coming inside, going towards the chicane, not quite quick enough. And the battle for victory, it's a four-wheeler, it's an eight-wheeler, a four-way battle for supremacy here. 2 Yamahas, 2 Hondas in the mix, and here comes Parks.
Inside into Ribatza. Oh, clean, runs it wide though. Not wrong with that.
You seem to be able to get away with that because of the just looping it round between the 2 apexes.
Yeah, there's not enough room between the corners for the man you've just passed and held up to actually get back at you by having a hit.
Look, here comes Robin Harms. Harms looking underneath Fabrizio there into that final.
I'll tell you what, you're right, he has been more and more impressive every week.
This is great.
When was the last time you heard of a rider from Denmark at this level?
I actually can't recall a man from Denmark. Like Stiggy, the team boss, is actually from Anderstorp, which is a famous old Grand Prix venue in Sweden.
They've actually got a guy working for him called Gustav, who's another Swede who is a suspension man who he actually tested with Belgara a few times on Yamaha, and he raced at European level on a Supersport bike. Then backed in racing and has become a technician. So they've got a lot of good men in the team.
I tell you what, it's working as well, because here comes the Dark Dog Stiggy Honda through to second place. A season and career best second place for a split second. Did he hang on to it up the hill? Yes.
Yep.
So, Robbie Harms up from Copenhagen snatches the advantage from number 84, Michel Fabrizio from Frascati on the Italian Megabike CBR 600. So we now have Yamaha, Honda, Yamaha, Ducati, Honda at the front. And notice Nanelli has really cut the gap back.
Yeah, these guys have been beating out of each other and have actually held each other up a little bit. This is why Parks has got away, and this is why Nanelli's back on the tail of them now. One thing that intrigues me looking at these bikes in the front is how narrow the 749 Ducati is. Yeah, obviously it's a V-twin where the others are across the frame 4, so they've got 4 cylinders to fit in between the frame and the fairing. Obviously the Ducati's got 2 cylinders, so it's obviously half the width potentially.
Did you see Nanelli smoking up the back tyre then? He's absolutely on the gas. Oh, yeah. Here comes Fabrizio, and he makes the Dark Dog Honda sit up, and there's no way back. Harms went a bit wide.
Yeah.
Just a little deep into Rivatsa, and that cost him a place. Could cost him more than one if he's not. Oh no, here he comes. He sets it up early on Fabrizio and says, have some of this.
Yeah. That's a block pass though, because he has held him up mid-corner.
And that's just given a bit of breathing space to Brock Parks.
It has.
So as Parks crossed the line, and Kevin Curtin makes a move, and there's a white flag out with a red cross on. What does that mean?
That means there's an ambulance or track clearance vehicle on the track. So really they need to be keeping their eyes open.
And Parks was half a second faster than Harms on that lap with that dust up that went on behind. So Parks now with a 1.02 advantage. Curtin 4th, Nanelli 5th, Foray 6th. And then the second wave, Karadi, Chambon, Stiegfeld.
Look at Harms, this is so impressive.
Oh, Nanelli squeezes past number 11, Kevin Curtin. So Nanelli, who concussed himself badly a couple of rounds ago and has been missing for the last 2 rounds, just holding on in front of Kevin Curtin. Oh, he wobbled a bit wide. And Curtin, do you know, you could see, just looking at Curtin's visor, you knew what he was going to do at that point.
This is why I love Supersport racing, because you just never knew what was going to happen. This is it, you knew you were going to be in a big race. There's something on the track, that means there is a vehicle on the track, either attending somebody or by the side of the track, and they're showing it all the way around, and I don't understand that.
And that was the moment at which Nanelli got the better of Kevin Curtin, and then got it socked straight back to him. Fabrizio in the lead. I beg your pardon, Fabrizio in the lead. What am I talking about? Brock Park's in the lead. Fabrizio in third place even. And Robin Harms splitting them on that distinctive yellow dark dog Honda.
Oh,
Fabrizio,
and
then
go wide. That was the worst.
And the spots of rain coming down. We've got a little, the clouds have just begun to gather a bit suspiciously above us again, and there's a few flecks of rain. Please don't start weighing down.
No, we need this to keep going. I'm loving this.
So Brock Parks leads it. Harms second by a whisker from Michel Fabrizio, Kevin Curtin, Gianluca Nanelli, Fabian Foray. And behind them, desperately hanging on, is Carradi, with Chambon just slipping away. And it's amazing how they pulled Brock Parks back in. Parks had a clear track at a half-second advantage.
Exactly, but once they stopped sort of scrapping amongst themselves, if you like, they were obviously going to go quicker, and now they've got right back up to the back of them. I don't think anybody's going to be able to get away here, though.
8 laps complete out of 21.
Have you ever met Robin Harms? Have you seen him? Is he a real small chap? He looks tiny on the bike.
Do you know, I've never got to talk to him. I must dig him out of his garage and find out a bit about him, especially after a race as impressive as this.
Smoke him out of his garage, Jack.
We first really noticed him at Brno when he had a good scrap with Craig Jones.
Yep.
That's when he really began to show impressive form. We'll take a quick break and then be back very soon. Welcome back to the people that were once christened the Axe Murderers by James Whittam back in 1998 when he made a winning debut at Donington Park in World Supersports. Former champion Fabian Foray is 6th and in with a chance of victory. And at the front, we've got Brock Parks. Michel Fabrizio has retaken 2nd place for Robin Harms.
In actual fact, I did christen them the Axe Murderers because there's always a lot of fighting going on. But once you get inside a race like this, it's actually brilliant because instead of being stuck on your own, wondering how long it's to go and seeing the laps click down, and it takes ages. These races, because you've got so much to think about, so many riders around you coming up with a plan, everybody else coming up with a plan, trying to beat you trying to get in front of everybody else, the race just goes so quick and it's so enjoyable. And there's Foray just going under Nanelli there.
So finally Foray has made a bit more progress. Nanelli looks like he's pretty determined to get it back. How quick is that 749R Ducati?
Yeah, I mean,
not quite fast enough.
I'll tell you what, it's quick enough though. Jurgen van der Gerberg said he took it back, said it was rubbish, he didn't want to ride it. Look at it now.
Kevin Curtin just about outbraked himself then. He almost touched Robin Harms' back wheel and had to sit it up for a moment. And that's given Foray the chance to get on terms. And this is the Selmat Ducati of Andrea Berta going into the pit garage. 2nd place now again for Michel Fabrizio, the European Superstock champion of 2003, who rather oddly and unusually, James, got catapulted straight into MotoGP last year and performed, I thought, very respectably at some tracks, including Donington with the WCM.
Yeah. Not that good, though. Can I say that?
Well, I thought that, I thought he did all right.
He acquitted himself quite well.
Well, he's in 2nd place now, but the gap's just opened up slightly. 10 laps out of 21 complete. Brock Parks with a slight advantage, and Robin Harms just losing touch a little with Fabrizio, having been able to give the Italian such a hard time. And over the crest of the hill.
Here comes Curtin on Harms, and Curtin is a gnarly old dog. He's just been around a long time. He's old, he's experienced, but he's still super tough. And you'd have to sort of chop his limbs off, not just break them, to stop him going out on his bike.
And he's now 3rd. So number 11, Kevin Curtin, 39-year-old from Sydney. And Foray's through.
Harms has got the worst of this lap. He's gone back 3 places in 1 lap.
Oh, Robin, come on. So the kid from Copenhagen drops back to 5th place, just ahead of Gianluca Nanelli. And Fabian Foray, well, Foray he's pretty known for his late race charges, really. He has good second halves to races, James.
Yeah, he does, yeah, and he certainly is very experienced as well. He's probably got, he's got a lot of experience in this class as well, so
11 laps out of 21. We're just across half distance with Parks at 0.24 of a seconds ahead of Fabrizio, Kevin Curtin. And on the last lap, 53.9 plate, 53.2 6. And Fabian Forey was very quick on that lap.
He was, and he's now gone under Kevin Curtin into 3rd. And he's fancying a bit of this, I think, he's Forey.
So Forey, from looking as if he hadn't really got the pace he needed, is now really clicking on a bit.
He is.
Parks 153.8, Fabrizio 153.5.
Oh, this is what they've got to be careful of here. This is that. Yeah, fair play. Curtin got under him, but he actually, both of them will go slower on that lap because they're holding each other up. That was, kind of block pass, and that doesn't help anybody really.
But there again, you see, if the leaders start doing it, as Fabrizio retakes the lead, he'll want to do that in front of his home crowd at every opportunity. Yeah,
but as a rider, that'd make you angry. It really would make me angry. That's just a block pass. Everybody's held up. Well, the people behind you are held up. I mean,
So for and there's
come on, lads, back it in.
That's Fabian Forey going back through to 3rd place.
If these two would actually just stay where they are and let either one of them lead the 3rd place, I'm sure they'd catch the 2 leaders.
Well, you saw that they're kind of in a distant battle for runner-up place. Kevin Curtin knows that he doesn't want to really lose a hatful of points to Fabian Forey today.
Yeah, but there's 10 laps left. Or 9 laps now, you know what? Yeah, by all means.
They were about, I do remember. I recall our disappointment when you and Ian McPherson beat one another with about 29 laps to go in Australia. He
tried to.
Oh, Stefan Chambong's gone down. No, he doesn't often make a mistake, James. No, really doesn't often go down.
He had scythed his way through to 15, so it doesn't really matter.
I feel you're being. Can I just correct you? 11th he was. 11th. Fair enough, but he had started first.
Now this is why. Fabrizio's pointing up now. It's obvious there's more in than we. Yeah.
Oh, there is. Harder's gone down. Oh, bless him. What a nasty fall. And the slower the high side, the harder the landing, and that looked painful. Robbie Harms goes down hard.
He's up.
And does that mean, are those lads thinking of stopping it?
No, it's wet. I think
it really is damp
went
out
there. The start and finish, and actually, you can see you can actually see it on his camera there.
That was such a heavy landing.
I tell you what. That was some kind of
he'll need a new crash helmet.
And it's obviously very, very wet around the back part of the circuit. That's about as far from us as you can get. That was going out of the hairpin at Tosa.
Now I thought that the lads might sit up and put their hands up, but they haven't done. They're still scrapping.
No, actually, in actual fact, Fabrizio did stick his hand up going up the start and finish, but there's obviously taking no notice.
Brock Parks has obviously thought, well, I'm still leading. I'm just going to carry on, crack on.
And that Fabrizio trying to get under Kevin Curtin. So we know that it's slippy on the back part of the circuit. That's the furthest part away from us, which is the sort of Tosa hairpin after Tamburello section, because that's where it happened. This is but you can see there's actually rain on our windscreen, on our window now, and there's rain on these cameras. Look, you can see it.
So despite any dampness in the air on the track, number 99, Fabian Forey, race winner here in 2001 after an epic scrap with James Whitham, and Carl Muggeridge is up into 3rd place, his highest point in the race, but still ahead of him is his nemesis Kevin Curtin, who holds that 2nd place in the championship.
They're just coming into the
and now Brock Parks is saying, I've had enough.
No, that's right, they're all saying, and this is the wet part of the circuit. We know this is wet. We know this part of the circuit is wet.
Oh, now what's going on? They still seem to be scrapping, but at a slower pace.
And it's very, very wet here because we know how slippy it is, because we've just seen Robin. Oh, that's wet. I mean, that's wet. That is proper wet.
And that was a big moment there for Kevin Curtin, as Forey, for the first time in this race, glances over his left shoulder and almost loses out to Michel Fabrizio coming up on his right. Yeah, and look at this, Curtin's not enjoying this. He's gone back.
None of these lads are enjoying it. They just don't want to lose out. When the race gets stopped, they want to be in the best position they can. So they're being almost forced to keep going in conditions they don't really want to be going round in. This is a bad situation, really.
And it's so unexpected. Look how the skies have closed in around us. It's kind of blown in from the west. And look at this, number 99, Forey takes the lead.
And this is, if he can just manage to survive till the end of this lap in front and then they stop it, it still go back to the previous lap. They need to almost complete a lap. Otherwise, because not everybody will have gone over the start and finish. If these 4 go over.
And look at Nanelli. Nanelli is just getting stronger and stronger as the conditions get nastier. You could see a Ducati victory yet. So
And I think you'll see certainly Foray going over the start and finish, sort of pointing up, because you know you can see how much water there is on the cameras.
Kevin Curtin has dropped back now to Alessio Carradi, so Curtin could be the big loser in this. If this were to get stopped when Curtin's that little bit downfield, then he's the guy who's going to end up, and there's still the red X out on the flag. I don't know whether that's just telling them it's damp, because it certainly gets wetter. Out along here, Foray's down. Oh, and Foray's finally gone down, and so he could be the big loser.
They
Well, I
must
think
stop
he's
this.
hurt himself.
I think the riders have actually decided that they've had enough. I mean, this is unusual that there's been so much happening. Oh,
that was hard.
Yeah.
Oh dear, let's stop this, fellas, please.
He's winded. I think that's what they're thinking, I'm sure. And that just is reminiscent of Brands Hatch.
Yeah, they have stopped it.
So that means either they go back the lap. There's not that many people will have gone off the start. Not everybody will have gone off the start and finished. So that's either, to me, that's either Foray, or that could be, who led it the lap before Foray led it?
It might have been Brock Parks.
It could be Brock Parks. I reckon either Foray or Brock Parks, maybe Foray. Depends how many people have gone over.
I just wonder if the lads were hoping to stretch it so they didn't have to go out again, because they've gone 14 laps out of 21, and I thought 2/3 distance was the minimum you had to do to count a race result.
I think that if there's 14 complete, I suspect that's why the organisers tried to keep it going as long as they could, so they don't have to have another rerun.
Oh, that was another painful unload at a low side, but look at what it did to the bike. Oh dear me.
Part race, that takes ages. That throws all the television times and everything out. So if they can keep it going, just so they've got 2/3 distance, just so it's a race result.
And look, after all that, they've pulled it back to where Curtin has still pulled the advantage over Forest. Although Kevin plummeted back to Rolly's terrible thing. I know from my days as a photographer, when you get the spots of rain, then it starts to steam up. Oh, it's horrible. And imagine what it's like behind a visor. Parks takes a quick glance behind him. Now he's got to concentrate on the front. Oh, he almost got a jump start. He was away so fast. And Foray got a terrible one, and again gets sucked back into the pack, which is what he didn't need, because the spray is going to be a problem when you're back there.
Yeah, definitely. The spray is a really big problem when you're mid-pack, and Foray's way down.
And Fabrizio, to my surprise, because he did seem so cool. Oh, and someone's down straight off, and that's Xavier Foray, and he's left.
Back, still going.
He's left the Alstara Corona Suzuki to carry on unaided.
What damage did his bike do after that? Did it hit anybody else?
It looks like it didn't, because no one else seems to have gone down. Isn't that remarkable? Just look at that bike now. The riderless horse heading for the second fence. And poor old Xavier Forrest, then he is out.
Oh,
and
there's somebody else off.
Oh, was it?
This is a slip. One of the back markers. This is a slippy circuit.
Alessio Carradi, who looked increasingly confident as it got damper towards the end of the first race. He is there in second place, ahead of Gianluca Nanelli, who always also looked confident towards the end. And Nanelli, in fact, cuts underneath Alessio Carradi. And it just has a bit of a moment there on the Ducati. Oh, this looks horrible.
We know how slippy it is down here into Acqua Minerale, because we saw several people go straight on here in the Superbike race.
And one of the Kawasaki's, Antonello. You know, experience does count in these conditions. Number 30, Alessandro Antonello, 33-year-old from Cittadella, has chipped his way through into about 7th place from well down on the grid. Fabrizio 4th, 5th Curtin, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th place, number 99. Fabian Foray, but what about Johan Stiegfeld? He's obviously picking up where Robbie Harms left off and is tiptoeing his way through on the Stiggy Racing Dark Dog Honda. And here comes Antonello.
This again is generally the slippiest. When I've raced it before, this has been the slippiest part of the circuit, these two corners here.
Kevin Curtin not looking very happy, and already Gianluca Nanelli has taken advantage of Brock Parks at the front, and Nanelli looks as if he's out to really enjoy this. He also a bit of a homeboy, of course. His family have an air conditioning and central heating business just up the road from Monza, so he's on very familiar territory, and he's getting his head down and beginning to look menacing.
He's getting some grip. He's getting some grip where Brock Parks definitely isn't.
So right now at the front we've got Gianluca Nanelli making his return after missing a couple of races. Nanelli is presently 9th in the championship.
Even if you didn't speak Italian and you couldn't see what was going on because you had your eyes shut, you could still tell an Italian was leading this race. because you can hear the circuit commentator going absolutely into orbit.
He crashed out at Brands Hatch. He missed Assen and Lausistreng, so 3 rounds down the pan from Gianluca Nanelli. He was twice on the podium, 3rd in Monza, of course, after a terrific ride, 3rd again at Brno, and he lies 9th in the championship, just 4 points behind Xavier Forres, who's already out, and 30 points behind Stefan Chambon in 7th. But he's certainly getting an early grip on this race, and Fabien Foret, who must be feeling a trifle bruised and battered. Oh, and there's a man without a motorbike. Oh dear, he's left it parked up.
Yeah, you want to be shifting that.
That's number 51, Robert Ranfardoni, an 18-year-old on a light-speed Kawasaki who's not likely to have much experience of racing in the wet.
Have a master running over shouting at him, you can't leave that there, son.
I'm going to put a parking ticket on it.
Now, one of the problems is it'll be leaking its petrol and oil all over the place now.
Talking about leaking, just to show you how unused they are to rain round here, the roof of the media centre was leaking this morning. Spattering rain all over the lads who were pattering away on their little computer, their laptops and things. Gordo and the boys were suffering. So the man from Firenze, which is actually only just really up the road from here as well, it's almost midway between Monza and here. Gianluca Nanelli is in the lead for Scuderia Caracci Ducati.
Not only is he in the lead, he's actually checking out. He's gone.
He's just turned 33 years, turned, I beg your pardon, 30 years old on the 22nd of August. Gianluca Nanelli, plenty of experience. And Kevin Curtin, also with loads of experience. And Australians, we are accustomed to the Aussies doing well, particularly when it rains hard at Phillip Island. We've often seen really good results from the Aussies. Yeah. So it's kind of a surprise not to see them going a little stronger than this, although having said that, it's only Nanelli who's cleared off at the moment. The other guys are fairly tightly together. So Nanelli, with a 2-minute 14-second lap, is 3 seconds quicker than anybody else.
That's 3.5 seconds. Oh, getting on for 4 seconds quicker than anybody else.
And Parks, Fabrizio, Curtin, Carradi, Foray has got the better of Stigfeld and Antonello. 9th for Voss, 10th for Mariottini. And here comes Alessio Carradi. The rev limiter goes even higher, and in fact positively explodes on the course commentator as Alessio Carradi creeps through into 2nd place ahead of Brock Parks. And poor Parks can see a race win disappearing here, I think, because I'm not sure. With 6 laps remaining, I just wonder if we've got the gap at the moment of 2.448 seconds. Now, whether that's a revised gap on overall aggregate timing, I'm not sure, as Michel Fabrizio makes his move on Kevin Curtin, and Curtin tries to respond round the outside. Welcome back to an extremely damp and dreary Imola. I've never had to say that before, and I wish I wasn't having to say it now, but it's certainly benefiting Gianluca Nanelli, because on revised aggregate times he's 2.5 seconds clear on the Scuderia Caracci Ducati 749R, a man who's been twice on the podium in 30 World Supersports races. Could he be headed for his first ever win with 5 laps to go?
He's a lot more than that now. He's actually 5.6 seconds on aggregate in front of Brock Parks.
And this, well, that was Brock Parks, but Brock Parks has been eaten up now by Alessio Carradi and Kevin Curtin, and Parks is struggling a bit. He's got Michel Fabrizio right with him, and also Alessandro Antonello is in there in the frame. Here they are crossing the line now, and it's Nanelli. I beg your pardon, on revised, this is the race on the track. The revised positions, Nanelli has a 5.6 advantage over Parks, who has exactly 1 second over Kevin Curtin.
This is like an echo. I said all that about 10 seconds ago, Jack.
I'm sorry, mate.
It's like Groundhog Day with you. Say it again.
I was so focused on
say it again, honestly.
I was so focused on our timing screen. When I'm trying to work out mathematics, it all fails me.
Yeah, but this is going to change up. If Brock Parks doesn't get going, he will have dropped out of 2nd place. He's only actually got 2nd place on aggregate due to the fact he had a little bit of a lead in the first part. He will have lost that now. In fact, Parks, Curtin, Fabrizio or Carradi are all in with a major chance of 2nd place in this race now. It's all really close for 2nd. There's less than 2.5 seconds in it. And poor Foray is back in 6th place, 30 seconds on aggregate behind. So Fabien Forain having a pretty miserly time of it here in the wet, as Michel Fabrizio puts another pass on Brock Parks. As it gets wetter, Brock gets slower.
So as they dive downhill on this suddenly gloomy looking magnificent scene from the hilltop at Imola, Gianluca Nanelli has cleared off.
There's Antonello.
And Antonello has got past Brock Parks, and Antonello having his best ride by far on the Bertocchi Kawasaki. I forgot it was the Bertocchi team he was riding for, the same team that fields Giovanni Busset in World Superbikes. So considering how unpleasant the weather is, a surprising number of Italians feature here, 2nd, 4th and 5th in the top 6 in this race.
So
and
nice.
Also leading, I'd forgotten Nanelli, because he's cleared off. He's gone across the line, 2:13.9.
So he's seconds in front now. From Curtin, from Fabrizio, from Carrade, from Antonello. Brock Parks still sneaking in there in 3rd due to his... Even though he's dropped off the back of these due to the fact he had a little bit of a lead in the first part.
But he has less than 0.3 of a second advantage now over Fabrizio. This is Gianluca Nanelli. Nana from Firenze. His hobbies are bodybuilding and martial arts, and I'll tell you what, when you see him stripped to the waist, that is, or indeed down to the briefs, you know why, and the ladies do.
You want to watch what you're saying, Jack.
That's a big, sorry.
I told you not to mention the fact that you keep going around sneaking a look at him in his brief.
No, I'm sorry. I don't, honest.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, what was I saying? Gianluca Nanelli, he's in the lead. 2nd place is on the road, at any rate, is Carrade, but 5th place on corrected time, because Curtin is 2nd, Parks 3rd, Fabrizio 4th in front of him.
I think that will have changed. I think Parks will be down to 5th by now, because he's there right off the back of those 4.
Yeah, and Brock Parks. I love Antonello's helmet, great outfit. Antonello then just to say in front of Fabrizio as they climb up the hill away from Acqua Minerale. A good ride by the experienced former Aprilia test pilot here in WSB.
And riding the curves like Fabrizio's doing there at the Variante Alta at the top of the hill is real dangerous. The paint round here is so slippery when it's wet, and you see him having to go over absolutely straight up. And what he's gaining by cutting the corner, he's actually losing, because he can't open the throttle at all till he's off the paint.
Kevin Curtin takes a quick look behind him. He's probably trying to figure out how much of a lead he's got on people. He's presumably, will the boards be giving these lads aggregate times?
I was just going to say that this is where your crew and your lap board is real double important, because you really need to know where you are, and there is no point pushing.
Oh, wow, and that was choreographed. Antonello and Fabrizio both saving themselves from a double fall from grace with 3 laps to go.
Formation high side team there.
And you were just desperately accurate there. Curtin is now 2nd, Carrade is 3rd, Fabrizio is 4th, and poor Brock Parks has been pushed back to 5th. But at least he knows he's got a 23-second cushion over Alexandra Antonello. So Carrade, former European champion, leads Kevin Curtin.
And Nanelli's now eased it off. He's only doing 2 minutes 16s. He's actually been as fast as 2 minutes 13s. So he's actually 3 seconds a lap slower than what he knows he can go.
So he's presumably been informed he's got an advantage of about 7 seconds on aggregate. And, please just take it steady.
Exactly, yeah. Sometimes that's a difficult thing to do, because you've been romping round, minding your own business, and if you try and slow down, it's really weird how you can lose concentration and make a mistake. It just takes one sort of run wide, 6 inch, 2 inches even sometimes. You hit a white line, down you go.
Do you know, this could be, this gives me a bit of a kind of deja vu feeling. The first time that Sebastian Charpentier won a World Supersports race was at a drenched Nürburgring in 1998.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
He'd never really shown that sort of form up till then, and for a long while after, never did again, really. But he just romped away like this fella's doing. That was a bad
mistake. That was a real bad mistake from Nanelli then. He went too quick in and had to almost stop the bike around the Variante Alta, the top chicane.
So what you were saying about not backing off too much and creating mistakes for yourself.
Yeah, you can so easily make a mistake.
So Gianluca Nanelli just has to be a bit careful. Well, doesn't anybody in these conditions? On the Scuderia Caracci Ducati, a guy who started racing back in 1996. When he was already 23 years old in the 125cc Grand Prix class, the Trofeo Inverno at Vallelunga, and he finished 2nd the first time he had a race.
Vallelunga's a beautiful circuit down here. It's just north of
Just
Rome.
north of Rome.
Yeah, and I race
quite small.
Yeah, real twisty track, brilliant for Brits because it's English style. It's sort of not fast and flowing. It's kind of stop and start. It suits little scratches, and I love the place. I did a European Championship round there in get this, as far back as 1986.
Against probably Pier Francesco Chili, who's apparently going to come to the Moto 1 contest at Mallory Park in a couple of weeks.
In 2 weeks, yeah, 14th, 15th, I think, or 15th, 16th of October is the Moto 1. It's where the top motocrossers, trials riders, enduro riders and road racers compete to see. It's like a shootout, see who's the best. They do every discipline between them. It's normally, in fact, other people have a chance this year because David Knight, the World Enduro Championship front runner from the Isle of Man, is just that good on a bike that nobody else had even a look in. They were fighting for second place, but he's actually got a meeting. He's away racing at a World Championship event, so other people have a chance, and I think Kyle Harris is doing it. Also Chris Walker, if his arm.
I think Stalker's a bit chuffed at the fact he doesn't have to do it because he's hurt his arm.
Yeah, well, I mean, Stalker's good at that, obviously good at road racing, but he's also a top motocrosser, and he's also bought a trials bike now, so Chris would have been one of the front runners, I'm sure.
Do you know what's happening here? Gianluca Nanelli is dropping off the pace drastically.
He is.
And the other lads are clawing him back drastically. His advantage has shrunk to 3.8. He was 3.5 seconds slower rather than faster than everybody else on the last lap.
And he
so what's the problem?
doesn't even look quick now. He does look to have slowed down. I thought he'd slowed down because we were getting lap signals and he'd knocked it off. But might not be the case. He might be going as fast as he can and not being able to go any quicker. He's only got a 3.8 second advantage.
So but
then again, there is only 2 laps left. They would have to go some to catch him, Jack.
So the former Lorenzini by Leone Yamaha rider, who finished 4th in the European Supersport Championship in 2001, Gianluca Nanelli, is still the current leader, but he's really looking quite anxiously over his shoulder now. What is going on with Nana? Made his World Supersports debut at Valencia with a 12th place position at the beginning of 2002. And then, of course, he went off into World Superbikes. He was ripping in World Superbikes last year. He's come back into World Supersports, but I tell you what, he's going to be lucky to win this. He crosses the line. Now, this is where it's crucial. He's managed to get back to a 2:17, but the other lads are on a 2:15.6. His advantage.
It's the last lap, though.
It's 2.4 seconds. Perhaps he's just working it out. Perhaps he knows exactly what he's up to because he's got 2.4 seconds over Curtin.
I think he's got to nip and tuck this.
Antonello having a terrific ride. I almost used the word scorching, which is hardly what you ought to use in these sort of conditions. Alessio Carradi is second. Third is number 11, Kevin Curtin. Fourth, number 30, Antonello. But he's still
going to win this by a couple of seconds, I'm sure. Maybe he's all calculated and he knew exactly what he was doing, but maybe not.
Well, Nanelli was looking over he seems to have kind of picked up his pace slightly. He dropped to a 2:19, which was really dodgy, and he's come back to a 2:17. Fastest man on track on that last lap was a 2 minutes 14.8 by number 30 on the green Bertocchi Kawasaki. That man there, Alessandro Antonello. Wow, this is real high-speed tiptoeing. This is brave stuff.
I'll tell you what, I've never heard it described better. High-speed tiptoeing, it is. That's exactly what it is. And it feels like you're tiptoeing. It feels like you have to concentrate so hard because you can't make one single mistake.
You know, I think Nanelli, he knows the score, but he just desperately doesn't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
He's just he's keeping the thing so upright.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right, and I think he's just about going to win it by about 2 seconds on aggregate, I think, from Curtin.
Gianluca Nanelli, well, let's face it, at the age of 30, he's on the fringe of his first ever World Supersports victory. It's the biggest race win, really, of his career. So and it's going to be on home territory, in front of home fans at Imola. The whole family's here, like they always are, with that blooming great camper van full of air conditioning equipment, and he's going to win it. Gianluca Nanelli comes into the final chicane here at Imola to take the checkered flag, and hopefully, I would hope that on aggregate he will still have the better of Kevin Curtin, who just misses out on passing Alessio Carradi on an apparent Italian 1-2, and Nanelli has indeed taken it from Kevin Curtin and Alessio Carradi. What an epic race.